Hey guys, welcome back. How are you? I hope you are good and doing well. So, in the last lecture, we implemented the functionality where we were sending notification emails to the user when job removed from the portal and that job is already added into the user's favorite list. Okay, now in this lecture, we need to work on another mailer, which is when a user applied on a job, okay, and the job has been closed, or let's say its status has been changed by the company. Okay, now let's before discussing that in the technical depth, let's consider a real case scenario that what happened that let's say if you apply on a job on some platform, let's say Upwork or Naukri or anything else. Okay, so you applied on the job, your application will be received by the portal or by the client. Okay, and then the company or client deactivate the job or close the job. Okay, so in that case you receive a notification that a job you applied has been closed or has been set to inactive or is no longer available on the platform. Okay, so you will receive such kind of notification. Okay, so we need to implement that notification here, that if user applied a job, company received that job application and user will be responded that your job application has been submitted successfully. But later on, let's say company hired somebody else, because there might be possibility that on a single job multiple users applied for the position. Okay, and if there are multiple applications and position has been filled out by some other candidates, so company will close that job and you should receive that notification that the job you applied is closed now or no longer available. Okay, so in that case you cannot apply further on that job. Okay, so we need to implement that kind of features to receive the to send the notification email to the user. Okay, but before sending that email, first we need to work on allow users to apply on a job. Okay, for example, here you can see that this is our job. Okay, so just copy this job name and I'm going into the incognito mode where I'm logged in the system as a job seeker, because right now I'm logged in as a company portal here. Okay, I'm in as a company here. So I go to the incognito mode and here I need to search this job. Okay, so let's say I search this job and here you can see that's that this is showing me the apply to this job button. Okay, and here when I click on the apply to this job, I can see the details of this job. Okay, so I mean a form for this job, and along with the form what we are showing here that the company details like company name and the posted by, I mean who is the employer of in this company who posted this job, and the company address and the contact number of the company and the employer. Okay, and these are the fields in the form. So usually whenever you submit a job from online portals, you will see basically these are the required fields there, like you must have some cover letter attached there, you must have current CTC, you must have expected CTC like you need to provide, and your contact number, and when you will be able to join, like you will be joining immediately or within a week, within 2 week, or within a month or so. Okay, and if you are serving notice period already. Okay, so these are the things that you need to provide, and these are not the complete things. There might be more attributes, like somebody can ask you to upload your resume as well. Okay, and somebody might ask you to provide your GitHub URL or social LinkedIn URL as well. So that might be required, but I'm skipping that part here. Okay, however, we will later work on uploading the resumes whenever a user apply to the job, and we will also work on previewing that resume as well. Okay, but as of now we will just work with these basic details. Okay, now let's apply to this job, but before applying this we need to check out some association, that you can see that we already have the applied job model which belongs to user and belongs to job. Okay, and the job has many applied jobs and user has many applied jobs. So I missed that line here, so let's copy it from the applied jobs and paste this into the user. Okay, so has many applied jobs. Now when you go to the applied job, you can see that we are using belongs to user, but we need to do it in some way like that we did in the user saved jobs or in the notification settings. So what we need to do, belongs to job seeker. So open the applied job model and replace this association with the custom association. Okay, because only a job seeker user or a user with job seeker roles can apply over the job. Okay, so here belongs to job seeker, class name user, and foreign key is this user ID. Okay, now if you check the controllers, we already have applied jobs controller as well, but here we only use new form, that is displaying the form which we are seeing in the browser here. Okay, so you can see that this is the form and we are rendering it through this new action. Now we need to implement the create action. So before creating the create action, implementing the create action, let's make a private method. Okay, and the private method is like def apply job params. Okay, so here we need to use params dot require, and then applied job dot permit, and here you need to mention the attribute names. Okay, so what attributes we have: cover letter, current ctc, expected ctc, contact number, when you will be able to join, and serving notice period. Okay, and let me show you the form for this applied job as well. So here is the form. In the app views you can see this is the form. So these are the attribute names, you can get it from here, and you can see that we have the job id as well here. Okay, so let's add the attribute names here, like job id. Okay, and then current ctc, expected ctc, and then job id, current cover letter. Okay, and contact number. Okay, let's find few more attributes. What are they? Okay, so estimated joining within. Okay, so here estimated joining within, and then the last attribute is serving notice period. It's a boolean check. Okay, whether this user is serving notice period or not. Okay, so serving notice period. Now what we need to do, we need to implement the create action. Okay, so here you can see that in the user model what we did, that user has many applied jobs and applied jobs belongs to job seeker. Okay, so here we need to do something like, let's say at the rate applied job equal to current user dot applied jobs dot new. Okay, and why new here like this? Because we already have one to many association between user and applied jobs, so that user has many applied jobs and an applied job belongs to user. Okay, so now we need to provide this method name, that is applied job params. Okay, so that way you do not have to provide user ID explicitly. And why we are using current user here? Because here you can see that we already have before action authenticate user callback in this applied jobs controller. Okay, now if this applied job save, so if at the rate applied job dot save, then let's say redirect to, for example, this path, my saved jobs, user saved jobs path. Okay, so we will do it here. Else we need to render new. Okay, with the with status unprocessable entity. Okay, so now let's create a debugger here, sorry, add a debugger here just to see the form submission. Okay, so add the debugger here, and before processing anything else, let's restart the server, and here we need to fill the form. Okay, so just copy this lorem ipsum text, and here in the job posting, let's say hi there, paste this, thank you. Okay, and then let's say current ctc, so we will use 1 lakh, expected ctc is 1.5 lakh, contact number is, let's say, 0, and then serving notice period. Okay, now let's click on the apply to job. So when you click on this, you will see that the debugger halted the execution. Okay, now if you go to the next line, okay, this line will get executed. Now let's go to the next step as well. So now we can see that what is we have in the at the rate applied job. So applied job, so when you do this, you can see that the id is nil because it is not saved, because we are at this line and this is not executed yet. Okay, that means that we just have the instantiation of the applied jobs object for the current user. Okay, so here the user id, which is the current user id. Okay, and then this is the cover letter and current ctc, expected ctc, contact number, estimated joining within, and serving notice period to true. Now one can argue that why the expected ctc and current ctc is in the string form. And this is because, let's say somebody wants to provide 1.5 lakh, because here we simply provided 1 lakh as a digit, but let's say somebody provide 1.5 lakh, 1.75 lakh. Okay, so they might append the string there. Okay, so that's why we kept it as a string. Okay, now let's go to the next step. Okay, so execute it. So you can see that at that applied job dot save has been executed successfully, and this information has been stored into the database. Now if you uh, continue the execution from here, you can see that you will be redirected on this path. Okay, now since you can see that here we displayed the favorite job list, here we can see display the applied job list. Okay, so let's go to the not user saved jobs controller. Okay, and here what we can display that applied jobs, and here current user dot applied jobs. Okay, so just save this, and now in the template of this, what we can do, just open this user saved jobs. This is the directory, and here now let's make it call lg6. Okay, and here we can add another call lg6 that we will use to display his applied jobs. Okay, and here we will use this check to display if at the rate applied jobs dot present. What we can do here, and okay, and now let's copy this. So just copy this one here and here, do it like my applied jobs. Okay, so here you can see applied job dot job title, and then job path applied job dot uid. Okay, now we don't need that because this is just applied job, so we don't need it button like to remove this from favorite list. Okay, now if you save this, you will see that my applied job, so that means user has already applied on this job. Okay, and here we can say a tag here like applied, or we don't need to do this. Okay, now you can go to the view jobs, and here you can see the view details, and here you can see these are the saved jobs and these are the applied jobs. Okay, so now user can apply the jobs through this form. Okay, but here you can do one more thing, that let's say whenever a user applied the jobs, for example in the applied jobs controller, do you think we need a mailer here, or actually we need two mailers here. Okay, we need to send two emails from here, one to the company and one to the user. Okay, like the company will receive the information that hey employer, the user, this user has applied on this job. Okay, and here are the details. Okay, so we will display the details into the email that this user has submitted this ctc, this is the cover letter, and so on. Or even we can display a record to the user employer, where they can find the details of the user who has applied on the job. Okay, now, we can also send an email to the user that thanks for applying on this job. There are few more jobs that you can apply, and so on. Okay, so you can implement those kind of mailers as well. Okay, and in fact I will implement those mailers, and I will not show in the code. I will not make any lecture on that, like how to implement that, because we already discussed the mailers and how to send that. Okay, so but what I will do, that I will implement this and update it into the PR, and I will show you that how you can do it in your local. Okay, so now we are able to get the we are able to save the applied jobs. Okay, so here you can see we saved this applied job. Now what we need to do, that if company, for example, now let's go to the company jobs. Okay, if company uh, close the status of this job. Okay, for example, this job is active right now. Okay, that's why it's visible to the job seeker. Now let's say if company goes to the edit, okay, and set its status to inactive, that means this job is no longer visible to the job seeker. Okay, so in that case, the job seeker user must receive a notification from the company that this job becomes inactive or closed. Now you will not be able to get any kind of status, and you will not be able to take any kind of action on this job. Okay, so here we need to add one more status, that is closed. So let's go to the job. Okay, and in the job model, let's add closed as well. Okay, save this. So that's all for this lecture. Here what we did, that we allowed a user to apply on a job, so we implemented the create action. Okay, and we changed some association. Now in the next lecture, whenever a company will update the status on the job a user applied, like whether it is closed or inactive, then user will receive the notification, and we send the notification to the user who has applied the job. Okay, now you can see in the status that we have closed as well. Okay, but that part we will do in the next lecture. Okay, so I hope you like this, and we will meet into the next lecture. Till then, tata, goodbye, take care, and stay safe.